What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So over the last few weeks now, non-renewable sources of energy such as petrol and diesel have soared in prices, again putting a strain on the normal average consumer and businesses alike. For example, here in Cork where I'm from, petrol has now went over the €2 per litre mark, which again isn't kind of a common occurrence. So it kind of got me thinking today would be a great video to make in terms of clean energy and renewable sources of energy. And one of my favourite ETFs at the moment is the iShares Global Clean Energy ETF, ticker symbol INRG or ICLN, depending on what currency you're invested in. Today we're going to have a look over their current holdings, performance and my plans going forward, and also some diversification across this ETF as well. So with all that being said, let's get straight on into today's video. So firstly, if we just have a brief look at the performance on Trading 212 for the iShares Global Clean Energy ETF, in this case it's the INRG, traded on the London Stock Exchange, so these prices will be in pounds sterling. Now we can see it's currently trading at about £9.40 per share. We can see on the 3-month chart it's down about 3.19%, but it gets better from here on. For example, if you go to the 1-month chart, it's up 17.87%. On the 1 week, it's up just under the 9% mark. And if you go to today, for example, it's up an impressive 2% overall. Now, as you're aware, if you watch any of my prior videos over the last few months, I always kind of did like this iShares Global Clean Energy ETF because, again, it takes no genius to realize that clean energy is going to be the way forward as we move into the next 5 and 10 years. Now, again, if you're trying to make a quick buck, this probably isn't the investment for you, but if you're a long-term investor and you're willing to hold this for minimum 10 years, then definitely it will reap its rewards long-term. We can see at the moment it has 5.4 billion in net assets as of the 8th of March. We can also see it pays a semi-annual distribution and also rebalances, which again means it changes up or buys or sells different positions in the portfolio twice a year as well. Now, obviously, the first thing you should do when investing in any stock or ETF is to actually check what holdings it holds. For example, this ETF has 73 holdings overall at this moment in time. Now, there is talks to get this up to the 100 mark over the next few months, which I'm all for. Again, that just means there's less volatility in the overall ETF. So again, at this moment in time, Vista Wind Systems is top holding with 8.78% of the overall holding. Again, in my own personal opinion, I believe that's a bit high, 8.78% in one holding, considering there's 73 stocks at this moment in time. I would prefer to kind of see the top holding maybe at the 5.5-6% mark at most. I don't want to see that pushing towards double figures. But again, we still have Emphas Energy and Consolidated Edison making up the top 3 stocks here. Another thing I'd advise when looking for any investments is to look at their overall exposure or diversification across the securities or ETF in particular. So again, for this example here, we can see the sectors. There's 48.38% is in utilities. We then like the likes of 25% in industrials, 22% in IT. Surprisingly, there's only 2.25% of actual energy stocks overall within this ETF as well, which is quite kind of strange if you're asking me. Now, obviously, the above here all have aspects of energy there as well. There's a lot of IT stocks in particular that are focusing on renewable sources of energy going forward, on top of other things as well. But again, from the kind of untrained eye, I suppose, it looks a very small amount here, energy, to be in the overall ETF that is focused on energy. But anyway, we still have just under 1% of materials, and we have 0.24% in cash. Now, another important factor you should look into as well is not just the sector diversification, but global and geographical diversification as well. For example, here we can see the US is leading the way, which again is no surprise. 38.14% of the overall ETF is comprised within the US. We then have Denmark with 15%, Canada at 7.6%, China. We then have a good few European stocks, or countries should I say, below that in the form of Portugal, Spain, Germany, UK, etc. Again, I was kind of expecting to see Ireland on the list down below, probably around where New Zealand are with 1% or so, but unfortunately it's not there. Again, that makes no difference, I know, but I just did expect to see Ireland, particularly as a green country and particularly in renewable sources of energy as well. I did expect to see Ireland on this list. Now, also before creating this video, I was just looking at some news articles around the overall energy kind of news articles over the last few days. And again, as mentioned at the start of this video, we can see the likes of oil and gas prices are absolutely soaring at the moment, which again isn't good in terms of consumer purchasing. So that literally on the flip side of that is that renewable energy is going to get kind of a benefit from the increase in oil and gas prices. So if you are kind of looking to invest into this iShares Global Clean Energy ETF, like myself, personally, I'm actually going to wait a while until the kind of things go back to parity, because the prices, as we've seen earlier, for example, the last 3 months, or was it a 1 month chart, it was up nearly 18%. So it might be worthwhile holding off until things kind of go back to normal, and hopefully the world does go back to normal pretty soon and get rid of all of this chaos. And again, oil and gas prices should kind of go back to their average normal levels, which again will probably drive down the overall renewable energy stocks again. And that's probably when I will take advantage and invest, because again, in prior videos I did mention time and time again that I do want to invest into this iShares Global Clean Energy ETF. But again, to be honest, it was kind of at the back burner for the last few months, mainly because of dollar cost averaging into my growth and dividend stocks. There was so many stocks going down into the red that I was literally being able to buy all of those and get down my overall average cost to improve my dollar cost averaging, which effectively will give me bigger profits long term. So again, all my cash has been kind of tied up there in terms of getting into at cheaper prices within my normal current stocks. But again, once the dust settles, I will sure to be investing into this iShares Global Clean Energy ETF. So that's just a little update on the iShares Global Clean Energy ETF. Again, different tickers depending on what currency you invest in, such as INRG or ICLN. I just wanted to give my kind of 2 cents and kind of a brief update on how it's performing and current holdings at this moment in time, and my kind of plans going forward for this ETF. Again, as mentioned, I'm really looking forward to getting involved with this ETF, maybe once the prices drop a small bit, but I do have cash sitting on the sideline ready to take advantage. I'd also be very interested to know in the comment section below, firstly, if you hold any clean energy stocks / ETFs, and which ones they are, and your reason behind them as well. And I'd also like to know your thoughts on this current ETF also. So thanks very much if you made it this far. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.